going on, everybody? I'm your host, Mario P. Fields, and we have another guest willing to remove their armor to help everyone develop at least an accurate way of thinking. You guys know the deal. We're all emotional. Human beings are emotional. But if we can just think through some of these life turbulence, these external factors that hit us, at least we can improve the outcome of situations when they come in our flight pattern, if you will. We have today King Jaquell Martin, everyone. What's going on, King? You mind if I call you King?
Hey, I don't mind, brother. I'm just happy to be here, family.
Everyone, well, before I turn the mic over to our amazing guest today, again, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share the audio on all social audio platforms, and then get on that YouTube channel. You guys know the deal. We have a playlist on our Unarmored Talk podcast playlist. So it's the podcast, just so you guys know, it's not the YouTube channel. YouTube channel is Mario P. Fields, but Unarmored Talk is a playlist. And you guys know the deal. Every time you share, you like, you watch, you do any of that stuff, or you download audio. Every single time you do that, you're generating funds that I donate to my nonprofit, Still Serving Incorporated, www.stillservinginc. Go check it out. Last year, we raised over 10K. This year's goal is 20K. We are heading that direction. Help me out. We're done with the admin. We're done with that stuff. You guys know how it goes. Over to King, my friend. Tell the listeners and viewers a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is King Jaquell Martin. I'm a director, actor, author, motivational speaker, veteran, and a survivor of police brutality.
Wow. And you know, everyone, just so you guys know, I've had a chance to, I'm going to say I've been blessed to be able to get to know King over the last about a month or so. And I'll be honest, before this show, I was going to do all of that, introduce all the wonderful things he's doing. I said, no, I'm not going to do that because he's just amazing. If you guys, before we get into this interview, King, how can they find you? Because folks need to find you on social media and Instagram and learn more about the great things you're doing.
Well, you can definitely find me on my Instagram. It's my name, King Jaquell Martin. That's KingJaquellMartin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And the thing he didn't say, he's a very humble person. He served 777 years United States Army.
Yeah, man, that's what it felt like. 10 years strong, 10 years strong.
Well, you guys heard him mention things, director, author, actor, motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. He does both. He can come in and motivate you and inspire you, but he also kind of concluded, right? The suffix, if you will, of his introduction was survivor of police brutality. Now, a lot of folks, including myself, when I first met King, everyone, I was like, let's talk about how did you survive? What went through your mind? How did you thrive after police brutality in uniform? But from my basic understanding, my friend, that really wasn't the main turbulence in your life that you had to get through, is it?
No, we've all been through multiple layers of things. Life is like an onion. Everything has its
Yeah.
own layer in itself. But I'm just grateful that what I realized, especially being a director and an actor, that life is like a movie and that you have to become your own hero in your own story. Life is always going to have a protagonist or something that's going to come against you. The question is, are you willing to save yourself? And are you willing to surround yourself in a great environment where you can flourish and grow to be able to save yourself?
Yeah. And let's talk about what is that? What was that thing for you that really caused turbulence, if I use that metaphor, in your life where you had to do some self-reflection and said, wait a minute, I need to unpack this and take this head on. What was that?
Okay. Well, the first thing I would say was the police brutality.
Hmm.
And when I looked at the police brutality situation, because the officer that assaulted me is the same officer who assaulted the young lady at Spring Valley High School, I had to realize that I'm not the first person to go through police brutality. I'm not the last person. But I thank God that I was able to survive because there's so many people who look like me that don't survive those situations.
Right.
And if I am going to still be here with this amazing opportunity that May they rest in power and love. Sandra Bland, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Eric Gardner, Philando Castile, so many names, Trayvon Martin didn't get to survive. I want to make sure that I take the opportunity to, one, honor their lives, honor my ancestors, and create a better opportunity with the gift of life that I got.
Yeah. And when that happened, did you have any emotions of like confusion? Why me? What was it aside from maybe what I looked like, maybe where I was at, what I was dressing, what I had on? Did you ever have any self-reflection where you're going, why would he even do that to me?
Yeah, of course. I was in my military uniform and I'm like, God, I served my country faithfully 10 years. Why is it that I can go in foreign lands and fight people that I don't know and then come back home and I'm not protected? Where everyone's
Mm,
supposed to have freedom, liberty, and justice for all. That means all races. But do we actually have it? So it made me in the conflict ask this question: is the flag a lie? Now, that doesn't mean every single police officer is bad.
right.
Shout out to the good police officers that are out there doing the right thing, that are fighting for justice, that are doing the right things and abiding by the law to create a better place for all of us to live in. But for the ones that don't, I think you should be treated like a regular civilian when you don't follow the law.
That and that's remarkable that you would mention. I have seen so many people experience a wrongdoing from another person. It could be a
Yeah,
doctor or whatever. But for this uh, podcast, we'll talk about what you experience, and that's police brutality.
yeah,
And I've witnessed so many people. We call it an honest belief, where if one person does something, then they're all bad.
right.
And I love how you said just because you experienced this and you started to question things on a macro level, right? You still didn't develop this belief that all, police officers are bad. How did you think through that? Like, what was it about you that allowed you to think through that and not emotionally react to that?
Because I don't want all people to think black people are gangsters or all black people are bad. So
Mm,
why would I have the same way or the same mindset of the people that I feel like, and I'm not saying all white people, but certain people that are in power that oppress people, why would I take on their mindset? I'm not going to allow one situation to dictate my life. I get to. I get to be in control of how I think and how I feel and how I move. And Lisa Nichols had a quote. She said, let your pain and your hate become your gasoline to your automobile of success. So
mm,
instead of allowing all my hurt and my rage to take me into this sunken place, the reason why you hear all these titles now is because I allowed my pain and I put those things into a positive place to take me to places that I never thought that I would. Like everyone thinks love takes you so far. That's true. But hurt, anger, these are different emotions that we also have. So when you learn how to channel and have emotional intelligence to use these emotions and put that energy into the right place, it could also
yeah.
take different levels as well.
Yeah, and I love how you stated that. I mean, because that's a choice, and I love how you chose to do that. That's why I love this podcast because we have amazing guests like you that shows, that hopefully demonstrate to the audience that it's a choice,
Yeah,
and you made the choice to think that way. But I know that there was a journey. My,
yeah,
my belief is that was a
absolutely.
journey, and let's talk about forgiveness. Often. Um, at what point after this assault, this unfortunate assault occurs to you, here you are on active duty, and like you mentioned, I could protect what I believe is our nation's most precious jewel called freedom. And now you come back to the country and you get assaulted by someone who's, who's supposed to protect and serve. But where did the forgiveness start to come in? How was that journey?
Well, it comes with time. I'm not saying that something happens to you and you automatically forgive. That would be a lie
Mhm.
because then you didn't go through the process of healing. Healing is a choice. Forgiveness takes strength. A lot of people think that forgiveness is a weakness. When I went on Jake Tapper and he said, if you saw the officer again, what would you say? I said, I would forgive him. But the experience of the forgiveness wasn't for the other person. Forgiveness is actually for yourself and what
Mm.
you've been through. So you can create the space for yourself so you can heal. And I think a lot of times we don't forgive ourselves. And when we don't forgive ourselves for the different traumas that we've been through, either we compartmentalize it or we live in the hamster wheel of the trauma. And we wonder why we can't get out of that rat race. So I did not want to continue that cycle because I could have. I could have went and did something ignorant, something wrong, but what that would have done is that would have changed who I am. And so what I would rather do is allow that to elevate me to become better. So that way I can create a better future for everyone who comes after me.
Man, it's powerful. Did you guys hear that? What man, I tell you, start to forgive for you.
Yeah,
You guys heard how King said that. First focus on what you can control, and that's you.
yeah,
And as you stated, I love it how you said the forgiveness is not for the perpetrator.
yeah,
The forgiveness is for not to blame yourself for what happened, but the forgiveness for you to start to develop peace. And then I love how you said, "Hey, this is for me to become a better version of me, whatever that may be,
right,
to better the next generation, of people, and not to
right,
be a hypocrite,
right.
not to be a hypocrite." How long, King, if you can recall, how long do you believe it took you? Because we know you're never going to forget. But how long do you think it took you to go, I'm at peace? I'm
You
at
know,
peace with what happened. Now it's time to really move forward.
it took me honestly
Mhm.
maybe about 6 to 7 months. And the reason why is when I went to this place called CEO Space, which is a private entrepreneur conference, this white lady who didn't even know me, she walks up to me and she touches me on my stomach. And I'm like, what in the world? Older lady, but I didn't want to be rude. And she says, you have to give birth to that. Now, mind you, I'm in my sunken place of my depression.
Right.
So no one has ever spoke to me in this manner, especially in my dark place. But sometimes in your darkest place, you can find your biggest rainbows because you've never seen a rainbow in life without rain. So this young lady comes up to me. She says, you got to give birth to that. I'm like, excuse me? She says, you don't know who you are yet, do you? And I didn't want to take offense to what she said. I wanted to be open. She says that, hey, I'm going to tell you something. I need you to be okay with this. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, who's your favorite basketball player? I named Kobe Bryant. I said all of Kobe's stats. May he rest in power and love. And she says, it's
Right.
amazing you know a lot about Kobe, but what are your stats? And who are
Wow.
you? And it made me reflect on, man, I can know everything about everybody else, but what do I honestly know about me? What are my
Mm.
numbers? What is my legacy? Will that situation dictate my life, or will I take control in the reins of my life? And then she said, everything that you see is someone else's dream. And if you're always participating in someone else's dream, who's participating in your dream? And when did their dreams become more important than your dreams? Now, I had a choice when I was at this fork in the road. Either I can allow the situation to dictate the rest of my life and say, this is it, I'm going to be angry, I'm going to be mad, I'm going to be stay stuck. Or I can choose to take control of my life, my dreams, and I can honor everyone else who isn't here because I had survivor's guilt. God,
Right.
why am I still here? And so many people who aren't here, they look just like me. I still see
Right.
it on the news. Am I not doing enough? And if I'm going to be here, then I want to be here to make a difference. Use me till you use me up. Because I don't want to be here if I'm not going to create the change that I want to see. I don't want my boys to go through this. I don't want other people's families to go through this. So how can I love more? Because I believe love really does conquer all. The question is, will we choose to love?
Mm. And isn't that interesting? Like you said, about 7 months, a stranger, and again, here you are assaulted by a white police officer.
Yeah,
You could have developed an honest belief, which is a very dangerous belief that all people who look white, because just because they look white doesn't mean they're white.
yeah,
um, but you could have developed this false belief that out of the 8.5 billion humans on Earth, if they're of white complexion, that they're all going to be some type of
That's ignorance. That's
some
insanity.
behavior that's going to be a detriment, and you didn't do it,
No, sir.
and just the power of developing this, choosing this option of no, everybody is their own person, and I'm going to
Yes.
love and demonstrate love in a way to change the world. Have anyone ever in your network looked at you and said, why are you so calm? Why are you so positive? How can you forgive? Have you ever had that happen to you, my friend?
Of course. I went online and the comment section is crazy. I called everything but a child of God in the
Oh
comment section.
my gosh.
But that's part of the process.
Yep.
Any movie we watch a person overcome things. And trolls are things that you have to overcome if you so choose to.
Right.
Or you can allow people's opinion to become the distraction to block you from blossoming into everything that you need to be. If life is like a video game, at the end of the level, there's a boss. And you have to defeat the boss to be able to get to the next level. So my question is for the viewers is what is the boss at the end of the level that's stopping you from leveling up? Because you
Mm.
will repeat the same thing over and over again until you choose to defeat the boss in your life, whatever that distraction is, whatever that pain is, whatever that love is. And can't no one do this for you because you have to choose to do it with your own free will, which reminds me of my mother and my stepdad. See, you have to be careful with how you talk to people
Hmm.
because you never know who's going to be the person to bless you. My mother married a young man named Andre Flowers who was in prison. As a kid, I was a ring bearer in prison. I remember being a teenager and Andre was calling and he'd be like, hey, you can't go nowhere. You're grounded. Man, who are you talking to? You're not my father. You're grounded. You can't go
Right.
nowhere. You're locked up. And we would bump heads so bad. But eventually, every time I started going to the prison and I started seeing people look at their family members, it gave me a different perspective.
Mm.
And it took a while for it to get there. So when I got wrongfully assaulted by the police, it took me 4 years to get to court. My mom had to pay for a lawyer for me and my ex to be able to defend ourselves. We were found not guilty on all charges. When
Hmm.
Andre was finally freed from jail, one day they found him hanging from a basketball rim in Virginia.
Mm.
And it messed me up because I didn't think that that's something that we would do. I feel like something happened to him. I don't know. That's not the point of it. The point of it is when I went to my mother and I said, Mom, I know you don't got money like that. How'd you pay for this? How'd you pay for these lawyers? She said, I want you to sit down. I said, Mom, I don't want to sit down. She said, son, sit down. I said, yes, ma'am. Mama, how'd you pay for this? She said, I was able to pay for your freedom with Andre's money when he passed away.
Mm.
So the same person that was locked up, the same person that I was arguing with, is the same person that paid for the lawyers to give me my freedom. And I'll never get a chance to tell him, thank you. I'm sorry. I appreciate you. I didn't understand. I was a kid, but this man gave me something that I never thought that he would ever give me. So that's why you got to be careful with who you talk to, because you never know who's the person that's going to bless your life and change your life. And I'm right now to this day, I'm so grateful. And when my mother, we were growing up, she went from my hero to my fallen hero because I couldn't understand why she wanted to put these men in my life to try to play the role of my father. But at the same time, I had to ask my mother, I want everyone there in the audience to understand this. Sometimes you have to ask your parents what's their story to get a better understanding. Because if you actually knew what they went through as children, and if you actually understood that there's no blueprint at parenting, you might be able to find mercy and forgiveness in your heart from the things that you've been through. Because my mom had 3 kids by the time she was 21. I couldn't imagine what it was like to have that.
Yeah.
And now I went back to my mom and I had to say, Mama, I'm sorry. Mama, can you forgive my ignorance? Can you forgive me for not knowing your story because I love you and you've done so much. And the thing about it was you just wanted somebody to be there for me. You know why? Because I didn't know my father. I met my father maybe 3 to 4 times my whole life. When I finally met my father, who just passed away, we really didn't have a relationship. And I struggle with that because I begged and plead for the relationship that he couldn't give me. Please hear me out. Sometimes we might want things from other people that we might not get, and we got to be okay with it. But what I realized, Mr. Mario, was it wasn't my father's purpose for me to know him. Maybe my father's purpose was just to give me life so that way I could fulfill my own purpose and not
Yeah.
become the curse of what I thought my father was. Because honestly, he was just another man, just like me. And I had to come to the understanding of finding healing from my father, from finding healing with my mom, from finding healing with Andre, from finding healing with this police experience. Because at the end of the day, all the healing that I've been through was my own responsibility to find, which gives me the formula that we always talk about, Mr. Mario, which is emotional intelligence equals life divided by you. I'm going to say that one more time for the viewers.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence equals life divided by you. Now, what does that mean? I don't care what you believe. You can call it higher power, Mother Earth, energy, God. For me, I call it God. When you were born with the gift of emotions: happy, sad, love, anger. No one had to teach you this. You were already pre-programmed. Your emotions are your superpowers. But there's one thing to have emotions, and there's another thing to be emotional. And the difference between having emotions and being emotional is your emotional intelligence equals life. Life was here before all of us, Mr. Mario, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in life, you're going to have good experiences and you're going to have bad experiences. And you are the common denominator of your own life.
Yeah.
So, how you choose to feel about your good experiences and how you choose to feel about your bad experiences, you'll create your own heaven and hell. See, we have to go through the bad because how will we know what good is if we've never been through things? So, when you learn how to appreciate your bad moments and change the perspective of what you've been through, because I guarantee this, somebody wishes they were still alive to have your type of problem.
Yeah. Yeah. And I tell you, first, you know, my heart goes out to, your loved ones that are no longer here.
Thank you.
So first of all, your stepdad and your biological father. Um, and second, thank you for coming on the show to remove your armor, King, because you didn't have to.
Yeah.
But that's powerful to go back to share this with the audience, the power of a belief system,
Yeah.
the power of your ability to develop a belief without facts, research, and how it drives a person.
Mhm.
How you had developed this belief about things just to find out it was false,
Yeah.
and how you chose from the police officer, to the things that have happened in your life, my friend. How here you are today, when you're 27, you're 30, you look young, so I'm gonna go 20, 21, King.
Today I'm 44.
I'm joking. But you hear what I'm saying is that it's a choice.
Yeah.
And like you said, we won't live forever.
No.
But at least if a few folks listen to this, they can self-reflect
Yeah.
challenge your belief systems, and understand that love is powerful, man. And so I'm honored that you would share that testimony. And like I said, I appreciate it. But like all the other guests, I stopped saying you guys are busy about 2 years ago, because you're not. You guys are All the guests are having fun, doing amazing things. I watch you on social media, and I will put all the links in the show notes so folks can get your book and everything else and watch the documentary. But is there any one last piece of advice, because you've given some amazing advice, but if
Yeah.
there's one thing, you're looking back at everything and how you just developed this amazing ability to forgive, thrive, and heal, my friend, if
Yeah.
there's one thing that you can give folks, what would you give them?
Where are you taking all that pain? Where are you carrying it to? How is it helping your life? It's like holding dead weights of
Mm,
memories of the things that you've been through. My question is, how fast can you run if you hold on to all the things that you've been through in your life? How much further can you get to your goal?
right.
But if you can find the forgiveness and let those weights go, how much further would you go? See, that's the question. The question is, where are you going with all that pain? Because the
Right.
day
Wow.
you let that pain go, and the day that you fall back in love with yourself and realize that, hey, you're not even in that moment no more. You're not even in the same situation no more. Why are we still carrying it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, man. And you guys heard him. I mean, he's giving so much stuff. I'm probably be in debt. You're gonna have to invoice me about with a net 180. Fall in love with yourself.
Fall in
Love
love.
yourself, man. How can you love others if you don't love yourself? King, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you, man. I love you. Thanks for your service again. And we'll continue to talk. I mean, even though you're a guest on the show,
Yeah.
we'll be talking forever until I get old as
Oh,
hell.
wait. I always got to give my quote. Since this is unarmored, I got to take off my jacket, though. I got to be unarmored one time. My quote that I always end things with is, if you die today, would you get an A+ on life's report card?
Mm,
And only you know the answer to that question. But if not, and you're blessed to see tomorrow, you should live like it's extra credit, because we're all 6 degrees of separation from loving each other. The question is, will we? And every day that you wake up is an opportunity to change your future, but it's a closer day to your grave. So you got to be great with every breath you take, because it could be your last.
Amen. Amen. Well, you guys know the deal. I'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. But until then, I hope everyone is still living. And just like King said, man, hey, every day is a gift, and literally is. But until next time, you guys know how I sign off. Everyone knows this. And if you don't, if you're the first time listener or viewer, here we go. God bless you. God bless your family and friends. You guys be safe. Thanks, my friend.